So let's get started. Please welcome Alanna Masterson.
And next is Katelyn!
Yeah!
Whenever it's your turn, I just thought we could all introduce each other.
There was just like metal animals, but yeah, he would make like little animals out of scrap metal and give them to me as gifts and stuff like that. And so it was actually really sweet. And like, yeah, Enid just eventually she realized that she was being silly and that she was just surviving, not actually living her life. So once she realized that, she opened up to Alden. Yeah, thank you. Let's go over here.
You're welcome.
They've influenced you, and it's cool to hear that. But for me, I don't know. I just hope I get a good enough grade to get through.
I mean, I had thought being on the show was amazing. When I got on it, I was like 15, and I was 15. I was about to turn 16. No, I think I just turned 15, and that's when I got on the show.
How old
was
was
like,
Alden?
Carl? He was...
Alden.
Oh, Alden? No, it's the actor time jump. You were like, we've talked about this plenty of times, don't worry. No, I'm sorry. That was like when I first got on the show. I was 25, you were like 30.
You were pushing 50.
It was, there's still
It can't be helped with this straggling beard.
Look, I was like, I was the youngest, the best you could get, so like everyone else was older than you.
Especially since Mack
Everyone else was
disappeared
older than
and-
me. Yeah, I know, you're supposed to. But no, when I was 15, like, there weren't a lot of characters in pop culture or in any kind of like TV shows or being represented or anything like that were like teenager girls in general, let alone someone who was actually like a strong female character. So the fact that like there could be like a strong female character at such a young age, I thought that was really cool, and I never really took that for granted. I thought that was amazing, but I think I do always forget like just the scope of how this show can influence people. I think sometimes it's too grand to imagine, so I just can't. So they killed you. Yes, they killed. They're like, you don't get this show.
Katelyn, ungrateful killer. I think, to answer your question, I'm not turning towards you. I think what's cool about Tara's character was that being the first sort of LGBTQ character on. Oh, hi. You came walking out of the thing just like you. Right? Thank you. So for me, that's cool when I have a kid come up to me and say like, oh, hey, my parents love your character on the show. So actually when I came out, they said, oh, like Tara on The Walking Dead. And that made me really happy because I have a kid. Obviously, if she, whatever it is that she wants to do or communicate or say to me, I want her to be able to.
Georgia at the Georgia Tour Company for The Walking Dead. And this is my pal right here.
I'm Jay from SoManyShows.com, but we already got one peeking out. What's his name? Do I need to introduce him? Come on, Matthew Lillard, let's go! Mic check. Check.
And we did Scream 1, nobody was there. And nobody had any expectations. So.
And it took off and it's still here today. It's pretty crazy.
Does it still work? Who has seen that movie? Who's seen that movie in any of the movies in the last 3 weeks? Oh my God. You guys need a hobby. It is Halloween. It's still a little weird.
Well, you're on TV. She's streaming you live.
Oh yeah, I'm streaming live, sorry. I'm crazy about my social media.
Everyone-
Hey everybody, say hello! Okay. For me, like, I came into when it was such a big hit with Scream 2. Oh, thank you. With Scream 2, it was already such a huge hit. And what I loved about reading the script initially, this is going to be great to look at later. What I loved is the fact that
is you having the freedom to do those type of things, and how much of that was actual script?
So a lot of that stuff came in improv, and things that happen in the minute. When Skeet hit me with the phone, he wasn't supposed to hit me with the phone. It slipped out of his hands. His hands were all bloody, so it slipped out and hit me with. He wasn't supposed to throw the phone at me. And so when he had said, "You hit me with the phone, you have a dick," you're only allowed one F-bomb in a PG-13. Oh no, in an R-rated. We were going for PG-13. The original cut of Scream was NC-17. I'm telling 2 stories. 1 second.
Stay with us.
So he hit me with the phone, and Tatum had the F-bomb as written in the script, and they cut her F-bomb, which was a joke, and they gave me the F-bomb, and to this day, she's still pissed off about it. But I was telling you a story. What was I saying? NC-17. Yeah, so NC-17. So we were at NC-17 for 2 reasons. Because with the dead boyfriend, when Drew's boyfriend's sitting there on the thing outside, and they look at him outside, his guts used to fall and hit the ground, and you could hear it. So they made him cut that. And the other thing they made him cut is when he's stabbing me in the kitchen, you could hear the blood dripping. And they made him cut that to get to an R. Does that make any sense? Here's the thing, you can kill everyone, but we cannot show gravity at work. It really makes no sense. But I will say this. So there was a lot of those improv that came out of those moments. Wes, to his credit, and Kevin, to his credit, kept what they liked. So we would do a take as written, and then we would do multiple takes, and things would happen. And so those little moments of idiosyncratic energy that ended that movie, was all of us letting that happen. From Nev to Ski, all of us in that scene 118, which we shot for 1 week with us chasing her around the house. All of those little idiosyncratic moments came because you're on a 10. If you go back and watch the movie again, which you all did the last 3 weeks, there's so much energy. Everyone on that screen is on a 10 for a week. So it was a pretty crazy week of work.
What was it like to unwind at the end of
Took a TV to the face and was in prison and was running a bunch of killers in high school. And a month before production started, Columbine High School died. So they changed the script, rightfully so, and I never made an appearance again. I still got paid.
But no TV to the face.
No TV.
Okay.
I'm the guy from Scream.
Right? Exactly. Scream, I'm coming at you. Right? Scream, I'm coming at you full speed through the house with the knife. Things go like I'm wild. Oh, God. Right? Okay. Michael is this. I'm coming.
All right, stop!
It's literally take your time and walk.
I'll fight, Phil!
He's feeling woozy.
With that demonstration, I have a question that leads into that, because there's a lot of physical activity that went on in those, in the movies. Did you guys do some of your own
Want to
stunts?
see me do Shaggy?
Oh my God.
So, this is how I did Shaggy. You ready? Yep. Are you paying attention? It's Halloween time, damn it. So, first thing is you walk like you have flippers on your feet. Right? Pretty simple. Because I worked with these coaches and they're like, all right, we have to figure out how to do this thing, because it's not like I walked around playing Shaggy before. So I was like, all right, how do we figure this out? So they came up with the idea he's got flippers. And then you've got this idea that, his hands are always swinging. So you tie an imaginary, I'm an actor, so I use my imagination. So you tie a string to the end of your hand, so that kind of comes up. Right? And then what does he always lead with? He always leads with his mouth. He's hungry. Thank you very much.
But I think one of the most crazy and, I guess you say, physical.
And we have good years, and we have really shitty multiple years. So when I started doing cons, I was embarrassed because if you see me anywhere, I promise you I will give you a ride. So the transaction of asking for my autograph, it seems weird to me. And I was ashamed, but I needed the money. So the first con I ever did, a little gay kid came up to me, and you could see him crying. And the impact that my characters had on his life affected me in a really great way. So it became this transaction, I believe, that you can affect people's lives and change lives in 3 minutes. So if you're a little gay kid, or you're somebody on the spectrum, or you're somebody with disability, if I can see you in a different way, it may help save a life. I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for helping me feed my family. And everyone here feels that, so thank you. And that's why I believe that human beings can change another human being's life, or day, or moment in 3 minutes. And if I can do that, I'll do it all fucking my entire life. As long as people will have it.
Yes. Thank you.
He's a lovely man. We love him so much. We miss his other eye, though. Father Gabriel himself, Seth Gilliam, come to the stage, please. Thank you, sir. The next is the man of 1,000 voices and, only one arm, Mr. Ross Marquand. Panelist today for you folks. He lost his voice a little bit, but that's not going to stop him from giving you all of his love. Mr. Michael Cudlitz himself. A guys have been to panels before, you know the drill. We've got a mic there. We've got a mic.
Oh, it is a lie. I just stole it
We
because
have
I
a
was
mic
dead.
there, and do we
Just
not
that
have a
one.
mic over there?
Just that.
On the show was impeccable. I mean, I don't know if I've worked with
I
him.
think he's crazy.
Okay. He didn't drop the character, so you might be right.
Crazy.
We miss him like crazy, so yeah.
No, crazy.
Crazy.
He's my friend, and he's crazy.
Isn't that a country song?
This voice is not gonna work today. Maybe if I use this voice.
Are we doing an ASMR video?
We are.
That sounds wonderful, Michael.
Thank you.
Does this sound nice?
Seth thinks I'm crazy.
You are crazy.
Yes. What's that?
He has a girlfriend?
Oh, you have Rosita now.
Oh, Rosita. Oh, yes, yes. I was
Just my girlfriend? She's not my girlfriend.
Yeah, Abraham is dead. It's impossible for him to possess him.
Thank you.
Is that a McCafe?
Maybe. Andy is crazy. It's gonna be my thing the whole time. I'm gonna have to call Andy and go, sorry, buddy.
How about you, buddy? What's your question?
What were your wait, this is for all of you. What were your favorite episodes of The Walking Dead?
Just to be clear, we're not talking about Game of Thrones.
My favorite of all time was The Grove, where Carol...
That's a good one.
It's a really good one. Tyrese, the girls that look at the flowers. I just love that episode. It's a bottle episode that just shows, I think, what that show is all about, which is people who are struggling for normalcy in a really, really crazy, messed up world. And I think that a lot of people, including myself, related to that because we think a lot of what we see in the real world is kind of crazy. So I thought that was a beautiful, beautiful episode.
I think that was a great answer. For me, it was the episode, I don't...
Sorry, Eric, killing it. It's really, really great work. I've seen, I feel like the big picture. I've seen almost all of these. Seen a lot of the episodes and I've read everything. And these guys are, you guys are gonna be really happy. Really happy.
Then again, you're dolphin smooth.
Hey.
Poor Seth stuck here. It's okay. I think this just happens at panels. We just did the Game of Thrones one and then devolved into butt talk too. So it's totally normal. Obviously, there's something about this space that brings about butt talk. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, it's a safe space. What's your question? What's your name?
And my question is for Ross.
Damn it!
Ross, how does it feel knowing that Aaron, and by extension you, has helped inspire some members of the LGBTQ community to be more open and honest about who they are?
It's honestly the most amazing part about playing the part. I got this part when I was extremely broke 5 years ago. I had $100,000 of debt. I was about to give up acting and move to New York to pursue photography and writing. And I got this part at the lowest part of my life. And I never thought that working on a genre TV show like The Walking Dead, a horror show, would have this much of an impact. And it's not just Aaron. I think a lot of these characters, every character people can relate to, but I think it's wonderful that this character has helped people. I've talked to numerous people over the world to help them come out to their families and have these difficult conversations, and it's the most amazing feeling I've ever had. So, it's the best.
Great question, great question. What's your name? What's your
Maybe some sermons that you gave.
Maybe we'd see the
Maybe you went to
relationship between you and the lady.
missionary school or.
Sounds like you should write my backstory.
I would love it. Thank you.
No. He was like, no. He partied hard. He partied hard, and he was like, screw it, I want to be a priest now.
I like it, I like it.
There's a little nugget of information in the first episode that Aaron talks to the group in the barn that I glom onto more than anything, and it says that he worked for an NGO in Africa, and he had like warlords pointing guns in his face all the time, so he was used to the extreme violence before the apocalypse began. And I think I would love to expand on that. Like, what did Aaron see out there when he was doing relief work? And I think that'd be cool to see. But.
You can tell him the fans are asking for it.
Okay, cool. We'll do a bottle Aaron episode like he did. Yeah.
Cool. Hey, Aaron, can I ask a quick question about that? Oh, Aaron, sorry, Russ. In the season opener, you said something about being cool or something like that your whole life. Was the Aaron referring back to partly his prior life before the apocalypse?
Oh yeah, I think that's exactly what he was saying. I mean, I think he's always been the diplomatic nice guy, and it's served him well because he's always kind of been a little, the peacemaker and everything, but I think he's tired of it. And especially with this group, the Whispers are just insane. There's no way you can reason with them. The only way you can defeat them is to meet their violence with more violence, unfortunately. So he was willing to work with Negan and the Saviors, but Alpha and the Whispers are crazy. Like, they're just out of their damn minds. So.
It's all just a huge misunderstanding.
I thought it was really interesting in the season opener. I'm sure you guys can agree with me that we finally got somebody to say out loud that conversation that we as fans have always had, which is if you flipped it, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy?
Meat jelly.
It's a pretty good line.
Hi, my name's Shauna. My question is, if there were any characteristic about your individual characters that you could change, what would it be?
I don't think I'd change anything about him, honestly. He's just enough asshole, just enough nice guy. It was fun. I had a blast playing Abraham, and I think all this stuff Kirkman wrote into it in the graphic novel and the way they translated it into the show, I wouldn't have changed anything.
I wish Aaron was a bit more of a hard ass earlier on. I think he got beat up enough times to snap way earlier than he did, and I feel like maybe in season 8 he could have snapped, but I love that he's kind of snapping now and going in a darker direction. So.
Yeah, I'd change his wardrobe.
Hawaiian shirt Friday.
Exactly.
Like someone who left the show.
Herschel.
Daryl. Oh, that's.
They haven't shown Daryl. They haven't shown Daryl or Dog dying yet.
Herschel for me as well. Herschel is, I think, the saddest death. What about you, Ross?
Eric was very sad. But I think the saddest death overall for me was Daryl. Yeah. I'll go with her.
Daryl and Dog. That's why we married them together.
Yeah. Actually, I was sad when Neal died. I really liked Neal. He was the moral. Actually, you and Glenn too. That was pretty damn fun. Sorry.
Was that sad though, or was that just really gruesome?
I thought it was sad. I mean, we cried our faces off for like.
I mean, it was sad. It was sad losing them after the fact, but the actual death itself was just really brutal and gruesome.
I thought it was sad because these people were all so helpless, and they all knew that any one of them could die, and none of them wanted to be the one that died. But like, it was like.
That makes it heroic.
Yeah, but I guess that's why I love his death and why it was so tragic, because he was like, let's do this.
Yeah.
He's just like.
I think it's sad because they could have killed him because we didn't even know him yet. Like nobody would have cared. Really. I mean, that day. Now it's different. It's like, well, you know, whatever. But back then, killed Aaron. You're like, hey, Aaron died. And they're like, who? But now it would be just a little more sad. And now you won't.
It's just so heartwarming how much you guys love each other. Next up.
Alpha. Yeah, Alpha. She's batshit crazy.
Yeah, Alpha.
And dog.
Hey, what's your name and what's your question?
I kind of like them all, but I love when we got the audience. That would be kind. I love it when like grandmothers come up to me and want me to sign a certain phrase on their photo. This is the last thing I ever said. I don't know who's in the audience, so I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna be good. So, but it's kind of adorable to see somebody of that age look up to me and go, can you put that on my photo?
Universe, which Walking Dead group do you think you would belong to?
Alexandria is the best. It's running water and solar panels and electricity and a windmill. Windmills are cool, they're nice to look at.
I don't want to be a highwayman because you could wear a cool hat. But then you're all dead, so didn't work out so well. Hats.
Yeah, I would stay in Alexandria. I think that's the place to be.
Place to be. Hello, tall sir. What is your question?
Hi, my name is Jimmy. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. I'm a huge fan of all three of you. I have a question that I want to ask all of you. If you could be a sandwich, what type of sandwich would you be?
Can I embarrass you for a little bit first?
Please go ahead.
Jimmy is also on our show. I don't know if he knows, but
Jimmy is the answer to a trivia question of who let Negan out. Because that is the large brother who was supposed to be watching Negan. Sandwich. Well, Ross, you would be what? Ham?
I think I'd be peanut butter and jelly, wouldn't I?
Peanut butter. I said, well, peanut butter. Or were you jelly? I said, peanut butter, meat jelly.
No, just...
I mean, you don't know. You were there.
Spitballing here.
He said peanut butter, meat jelly.
Well, my jelly or is he peanut butter?
I think you were peanut butter. Because he said to you first.
You were peanut butter.
I'm peanut butter?
You were on his left and he was on his right.
But I'm crunchy peanut butter, right?
You're crunchy peanut butter because peanut butter's got nuts. And you're nutty.
So a peanut butter ham sandwich.
Did you say a hand sandwich?
Yes.
Oh, that's what you get. That's what you get.
Get that later.
Pumpernickel rye?
No, I would be a grilled cheese sandwich. Because I'm cheesy, baby.
Cheesy. Jimmy. He's been in every one of my episodes.
I don't deserve that, I don't, but these guys also really, in real life, are awesome. They're exactly how you are. Can't say enough good things about them.
All right, I'll be a roast beef sandwich.
Just for you.
These guys have done everything. I mean,
Yeah, I was a huge international television star.
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf, baby. Teen Wolf in the house.
He's joking, but he's not. So.
are you asking because you don't know, or do you know what these guys have done?
I'm asking because I don't know. And,
Oh.
and when did they kind of kick off? How old were you when you started acting?
Whoa.
Yes, this is an inside the actor studio question. 21 professionally, I was 21 years old, but I went to school, to the High School of Performing Arts, and then to SUNY Purchase, which was a theater training conservatory, to study acting before that. So I guess since 13, I've been kind of in the world of acting, on the fringes of, or working towards being where I am now.
Same as him so far as trajectory. Did school theater throughout. There's a joke when I had my bashed in head makeup, and we were talking about this with somebody singing that video when I'm singing The Cowardly Lion in Wizard of Oz. That was one of the first roles I ever did in like the 4th grade. I was the lion. My mom made a big mop top thing, and I guess it worked out.
That's adorable.
Yeah. All right. More cowbell.
Well, if you can't end on cowbell, what can you end on? Guys, let's give it up for these 3 great guys. Thank you so much, Catelyn. Thanks again. Thank you.
Welcome, Thora Birch. And finally, I've been hearing that she's the scariest Walking Dead villain of them all, which is really saying something. She plays Alpha. Please welcome Samantha Morton.
For me, it's I always get super nervous when little girls around the age of Danny Dennison for Hocus Pocus come up, because I feel like I'm a huge disappointment.
I mean, I've talked with Andrew Lincoln up here, Norman Reedus, but my favorite movie of all time is American Beauty, so I'm kind of fanboying out a little bit right now.
Thank you.
I'm curious if your perspective on that movie has changed over time since you're...
That's my
What do you say?
I say, and I go like this.